He's just a very
We can
strong
laugh
man,
about it
Steve.
now.
That's a slight exaggeration.
It's not. I love my mum in the background going, it's not.
I've got the wife here, Steve.
Sorry, did you say you've hit the wife? I didn't.
No.
Sorry, something about the accent and the delay. I didn't know what confession was coming out. And
The
so
whole family's here.
you did a whole album as the Ties.
Yes, we did, yes. We tried to get some interest with it, but failed, to be quite honest. And after that little episode, I really haven't done much since.
Well, after that, you went into a Beatles tribute band.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
With
about
that
that.
same man.
I became Ringo Starr for a while.
Extraordinary. What, an alcoholic? Can you say that?
No.
He was for a while.
Was he?
We'll check, and then if not, we can cut this out. Listen, thank you. Stay there, guys. But I don't know if you recall, but on last week's show, this is of course a pre-recorded show, so please don't email or text in.
No.
But on last week's show, we were very conscious that yesterday, Valentine's Day,
Yeah.
and Harry, you offered up a little treat for the listeners.
Yeah, well, people in love, they get very cocky on Valentine's Day, don't they? They have it all their own way. They, you can't get into a restaurant if you're on your own. It's all very sad. So we said, if you've got a tale of love lost or something like that, we'd dedicate a song to you. Time, Steve, our old enemy, has beaten us yet again because some of these tales were quite extravagant, detailing their misery. But it seems that the Steve Show listeners are quite a tragic lot. So I've picked a song for them. It's by a wonderful band called The Raining Sound, and this is called Funny Thing.
Harry's musical choice and a song that he plays for the Lovelorn this Valentine's weekend.
Yeah, that was Funny Thing by The Raining Sound for all the Steve Show sad sacks out there.
Thank you very much indeed. Time, our old enemy, which defeated us on the stories there, is almost, I'm afraid, defeating us again when it comes to the show, but I've enjoyed it.
Good.
Oh, you're sitting on the fence, as per normal.
I said it was good.
Well, yeah, it sounded insincere. There's one thing I can't bear, it's sarcasm and insincerity. So we've been talking to Sammy's father, and he seemed surprisingly affable, which in a strange way has disappointed me.
I imagine if you looked at him funny, that'd be it.
He would.
That would be the end of it. Yeah.
He's a guy who'd be tooled up.
Yeah. You wouldn't even know that you'd looked at him funny either.
Well, don't get tempted because it's nearly the end of the show. Don't get tempted to get a bit mouthy because you're finished if that happens.
It's like Harry was mentioning that guitarist he worked with who just had a loaded revolver or gun with him. I suspect that. Are you packing at the moment?
No, not at the moment.
But I suspect you've probably got a gun. Have you in the house somewhere?
Actually, yes.
Of course he has.
I have to just point out it is an antique, and it does
And it is me mum's.
Yes, it's Sammy's mum's, not mine. That's how tough we are in the north.
You bought her a lovely antique gun, maybe, as a Valentine's gift.
No,
A blunderbuss.
It was Sammy's, Mandy's late father's, and I think he brought it home from. Well, whatever.
Okay, listen, I love it. He can't tell exactly what's going to happen, particularly since he used it to scare off that guy that was dating Sammy that time, firing
So
buckshot
not
at
far
him.
removed from the truth. You wouldn't believe.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so another true or false, if you would.
My dad once had to defend himself in an aggressive situation with a stick covered in bells.
He's a Morris dancer.
So he's Morris dancing. He's either Morris dancing or he is a jester in an Elizabethan court. He fell through a rip in the fabric of time. He fell back into Henry VIII's palace. He once had to defend himself with a bell on a stick. Like, I'm just trying to think why he might have a bell on a stick.
I can't think. Unless you got the plague or something.
I was going to say, he was in a band with a leper.
No, I was in a band with somebody with morphans.
Hey, listen, we can laugh at leprosy, but not morphans, alright? Yeah, no, you were in a band called the Lepers, and someone's fingers fell off, and they couldn't play bass.
Yeah.
And someone jumped up on stage to play that bass, and you went, no, do not mock leprosy, and you hit him with your belled stick. You hit him, no? Okay,
No.
it's still true though, it's
true.
It's true.
okay, go
What
on.
it was, I had to protect myself in an aggressive situation, as Sam has already pointed out. I didn't want to damage my knuckles again. I'd just getting over quite a badly damaged knuckle incident, shall we say.
Right.
It's probably from smacking faces.
And-
That's
and-
what he's not telling you.
And of course, I had to keep playing drums for a living, so I couldn't afford to do that. The nearest thing to hand was a percussion instrument that I actually had made myself, which was it looked like a baseball bat with little jingle bells screwed on.
My suspicion was it was a baseball bat with some bells screwed on.
With sharpened bells.
But this was the Christmas period, so we were doing lots of
So it
Christmas
was a
songs.
festive beating, is what you're
It
saying.
was, yes, exactly.
That's
yes.
very sweet of you. It's not about when you're going to smack someone to death.
Yes.
You know, and it is Christmas time. Just accompany him with a little bit of jingle bells. Nothing wrong with that. Perhaps sing as you're kicking him. Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Yes, it actually encourages you
Sorry?
to beat people in time.
That must be very
When it hits
rewarding.
its target, yes, it's fantastic. It was. I like to think it was ferociously festive.
And that guy, even now, probably shudders when he thinks of Christmas.
No,
As
that
Christmas
guy's dead.
You know what? I wish that was a joke.
It's not a joke.
No, I can presume not.
Totally different incident. Nothing to do with me, but he no longer lives.
And as the coffin was being lowered into the grave, jingle, jingle, jingle.
Yeah. Well, listen, that's a delightfully charming story, with which I think to end this particular edition of the Steve Show. Thank you so much for contributing. I fear that we will have to get you on again for more of your stories, because they are quite
There's a lot
remarkable.
more where that come from.
I don't doubt it for one moment. But please never come to London town. Thank you so much. Round of applause, please, for Sally's father, lovely man. And we shall leave them up in the Newcastle area, and we'll play a little bit of Buddy Holly, of course, whose passing was commemorated recently. Heard him actually being discussed. There was a programme there was an item on Radio 4, and it was about whether Buddy Holly was still relevant, his music was still enjoyable. And against was a guy from Word magazine, and in the For section was Alvin Stardust. Good to hear Alvin as you're waking up in the morning, and he was very pro Buddy. And good to know he's just still alive, which was pleasant. So anyway, it cheered me up because I was feeling a bit blue. Anyway, so thank you so much for listening. Thanks to Harry Shearer, thanks to the gang here, and we'll be back soon, live in the flesh. Although next week someone will be sitting in. I shall still be jetting off to various Indian subcontinent places. So thank you so much. Leave you some Buddy Holly. Bye. I feel like a student who's gone on a kind of gap year bit of travelling and now has come back. His whole bedroom tie-dye.
Yeah.
There's there's joss sticks,
Ooh, strange.
fiddly dross sticks, and all kinds of various Indian memorabilia. Probably a Buddha. Little
Bound
Buddha
to be.
somewhere, sat somewhere, and maybe a sitar that he's never going to pick up, or at least a bongo at the very least. Yeah, I went to India, people. That was why Jarvis was very kindly standing in last week, and I thought, consequently, it'd be silly not to play some Indian-infused music on this week's Steve Show. So why not kick off with big tune Mundian Tobacco, also known as Beware of the Boys by Punjabi MC, of course, in their remixed form there, featuring Jay-Z, and using the bass line from
Night Rider?
Knight Rider, correct.
Yes.
And that's a wonderful segue, as it allows me to prime us for our guest, two guests today. Later we have a session from M Ward, Americana singer-songwriter M Ward, tremendous. Prior to that, we'll be speaking to the man himself, Mr. T.
Naturally.
I don't know if you're aware that T was in town. It's probably escaped your notice.
Yeah, it's not really been on the radar.
Not really been on the radar, but yeah, T's about, and if there's one man he's going to call on for a cup of tea, it's going to be Steve. So T and Steve on the show later, and as I say, great music plus M Ward in session, and yeah, as I say, music with an Indian vibe throughout. Let me just, before I talk a little further about India, let's just introduce the gang. We got Harry.
Yep, hello, good afternoon.
Ever been to the Indian subcontinent?
I've not, no, but some people from our bank went on a charity mission to build houses and stuff last year, which went down very well.
Right, trying to tie yourself into that good work in some way by mentioning that you work in the same company?
Yeah, I didn't go because I got, digestive system might not have handled it very well.
Sponsored them? Do you sponsor them?
I probably chucked a couple of quid in.
Good work, mate. Bloody good work. MBE's on the way.
Thanks.
And lovely Sammy, you strike me as the sort of person who would have effed off to India or something.
I am so scared of any language I can't understand, any food I don't know what it is. My even go to places like Spain, all I take is a suitcase full of Evian and pot noodles.
Really?
I really get scared about anything that isn't the norm.
A lot of people think of me as a very small-minded little Englander, and they're absolutely right. They're absolutely right. But nevertheless, I have travelled surprisingly far afield now. Obviously, I pointed in the direction of Cuba. I've been to Kenya, obviously Vietnam and Cambodia last year, and India, and also a little popped in as well to see what was happening in Sri Lanka
Just nipped across.
on the way back. So we'll talk further about that. Alabama 3, you're a tremendous fan of
Huge
Alabama
fan.
3, yeah. And you know their song "Ain't Going to Goa."
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah. You know I went to Goa as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
that's what you meant, yeah.
so he's not. So don't really work. From the debut album Exile on Cold Harbour Lane, that's Alabama 3, Ain't Going to Goa. So yes, I'm embarrassed to say that I went to India. Should have done it a long time ago. Always been fascinated, always wanted to travel there. Went for a wedding. That was ultimately the reason. Not my own. More humour like that to come. So I went, a good reason to go over there. Obviously, popped to Agra first to see the Taj. You know, just check out the Taj Mahal and give them a verdict. A lot of people are wondering now, people are waiting with bated breath, what's Steve's verdict going to be? Is it going to be 5 out of 5?
Thumbs up.
Is it going to be a thumbs up? Or as we were saying earlier, looking at the Independent, it has a kind of a very weird, the Independent newspaper has a very strange review system. It's a man sat in a chair.
Yeah, and if he likes something, he's stood up.
Yeah.
If he kind of likes it, he's sat
Slumped slightly.
They're sat upright, slumped a little bit,
Yeah.
more reclined, and then not in the chair at all. But
But is he on the floor by the end?
well, no, he's just not pictured. It's the most obtuse
he's not-
rating
it's so
system I've ever
confusing.
seen. But I can't. I read the Independent now, and it's like I want to have an opinion on something, so
Yeah.
I can steal it. And
You're a busy man, you're working in the bank, you've not got time to form an opinion of your own. You need
Yeah.
someone else, your newspaper, daily newspaper, to tell you what to think.
Is it
Boom,
getting-
you
is
want a
it getting
5-star
1,
system?
2 or 3 stars, whereby I'm not going to recommend it, or 4 or 5, whereby I will?
Of course.
I don't know. There's a man. He's standing up. He's scratching his head. He's
Yeah.
changing the channel. I don't know what's going on. I just don't understand.
In one of them, hasn't he got his arm? Whether
No, I've
what
no
that means,
idea.
but anyway, I would go with the Johnny Vaughan system, which I think used to be
is-
pictures of bulldogs. When he was reviewing films, it had little pictures
really?
of bulldogs.
That
three
works.
bulldogs is an absolute dynamo.
If there's something you can count, whether it be bulldogs or whatever,
I know,
that's
I know,
fine.
I know where I am, but a little man in a
Numbers.
chair.
Numbers.
Anyway, here's my view on the Taj Mahal. Stood up.
Oh,
Which
that's
I think
very
is
good.
good, isn't it?
I think that is good.
According
Yeah.
to the Independent, that's good. Yeah, I have to say, you know, you see it on lots of postcards and the like, you know, you think, oh, I've seen the Taj Mahal, I don't need to visit. You're wrong, Sammy. It's absolutely tremendous, breathtaking. Seriously,
Yeah.
it exceeds your expectations.
Was it big?
It's big.
Is it overrun with monkeys, or am I thinking of something else?
No, it's not overrun with
No.
monkeys. Apparently they were going to build, you know, famously they were going to build an opposing Taj in black. It was originally the plan.
Oh, really?
Didn't get made. Oh. No, don't bother going for that. But go for the amazing translucent marble that changes colour as the sun moves.
Do you have to stay there a long time
Yeah.
to see that happen?
About 6 or 7 hours.
Isn't
But
it
while
really
you're
hot?
while you're queuing up to have your photo taken on that seat that Princess Diana sat on,
Yeah.
you know, when she visited that
The
time.
jinxed one.
Yeah, because you noticed that Prince Charles is not in that photo.
Exactly.
He didn't sit on the chair.
Exactly.
He knew. He knew.
There's a lot more to that
There's
chair.
a lot more to that story. But yeah, no, Charles is sort of suspiciously absent from that photograph, as is almost anyone else. It's
Maybe
overrun
he
with
was taking
tourists.
the picture.
Does he have a little Instamatic?
I'd imagine when they go on holiday, they take pictures of each other, or they did rather.
Charles, put the flash on, you big-eared twonk. Oh no!
Oh,
I've had an absolute Clarkson.
Oh,
what have I done? I've had a Clarkson.
Sorry, everyone.
I'm still dizzy from the malaria. So anyway, yeah, on from there. Actually, on the way to Agra, barely been in India, 10 minutes. Someone tried to con me. Within seconds of getting off the plane, pull up a cab. We're getting on the train. We're going to go, 2 hours fast train,
Yeah.
and pull up. As soon as you pull up in a cab, a man opens the back, and giant, great big suitcases on his head. He's off into the crowd.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit anxious. You know, I'm nervous. I don't like losing because I've got 2 of the suitcases are just my shoes. Obviously.
Yeah, that's full of
There's only a
contraband.
pair in
And there's only a pair in each. Ooh. And so yeah, he's off, and then we end up in some weird corridor upstairs. It's very busy there, lots of kind of wild people running around. It's very busy, very noisy. We don't really know what train we're supposed to be on. And the man says, "Oh no, this ticket's no good. There's no good. They'll